welcome to the Sage Goddess September New Moon Ritual. We are under a Virgo new moon, and of course our sun is in Virgo. What does that mean? There is a real duality today of both the masculine forces in our universe and the feminine forces in our universe finding themselves nested in the sign of Virgo. And what does that mean? Virgo is a sign of many things, but first and foremost, Virgos are here to serve. It is the sign of service. Virgos derive personal satisfaction from being in deep service to others. That is how they derive self-esteem. And I'm married to a Virgo, and for a long time I thought it was candidly, I thought it was a little dysfunctional. How much of his feeling about his self-worth he derived from the work he did in the world, until I really understood the role of astrology to a deeper extent, and as my own practice has evolved, I've seen that for Virgos, it's not so much about the work. It's not about, they don't just love clocking in, clocking out. It's not that, right? By work, when we talk about Virgos, we mean service. We mean what they do on this planet to live into their soul path and their soul purpose. And I think Virgos, I will go so far as to say that I think Virgos have the keenest sense of any sign of how to serve others. It's like they have this, they can walk into a room and they can immediately sense what needs to be done for whom and how. And I really appreciate that, especially as a non-Virgo. I walk into a room and my Leonine perspective is where leadership is needed. So I walk into a room, if it's disorganized, I'm automatically thinking, how can I organize this? How can I bring leadership? What kind of leadership is needed? Leos also bring a lot of passion, a lot of enthusiasm. So if I walk into a room and there's a downer vibe, I'm always trying to raise the vibe. When a Virgo walks into a room, usually 9 times out of 10, they scan that room first. And they're scanning and they're looking for a few things. The first thing they're looking for is what's out of order. Virgos can't help it. What is out of order is always a glaring omission to them. Poor Virgos. It's like they can't not see the mistake. Even if the mistake is one that almost nobody else can see, the Virgo is going to find it. So that's the first thing they're doing through that scan. But the second thing they're doing with that scan is very humanitarian in a way. It's very selfless. And that's what I really want to tell people about Virgos today, because that's what this new moon is about. I bet you're feeling called to service. I bet you're feeling called now to think about, and I've got chills all over. So there's something in this for you. There's something in the work that we're going to do tonight that is really about how you serve others in your life. And this is a time right now, I think, in our universe when we need to stop thinking about so much, anyway, about what we need and what other people can do for us and how we would like to be served. And instead, I think it's a time for us to look around and say, what can I do to help? How can I be in service to you? What can I do for our planet? How can I support, people in my community, or even broader out, people in my country or just in my city? This is a new moon to reflect upon to what extent you are in a position of service to others, and maybe how you need to change to move into deeper alignment with an energy stream of service and really truly selfless service, because that's what a Virgo new moon is all about. It's kind of yummy, isn't it? And I will tell you, for as long as you know me, I will tell you that the antidote to sadness is service. That's one of my little taglines that I made up a long time ago, but it's really, really true. If you're feeling sad in your life, it's because you're thinking about yourself too much. When we think of ourselves all the time, first and foremost, that may seem like fun to you. As a young Leo, I was pretty selfish. Signs develop and they mature and they go through growth cycles. And so as I sort of evolved into what it means to be an evolved Leo, I had to, let go of some of that. But a lot of people don't realize that their sadness is linked to their selfishness. And I don't mean that in a judgmental way, but focusing on you is going to make you sad. Focusing on others and how you can help them and how you can love them and how you can be in a state of deep service and support, that is going to make you happy. It's just true. And it may seem counterintuitive. You might be thinking, Athena, I'm so sad. The last thing I want to do is go volunteer somewhere or help somebody else. I want to help myself. But I'm just telling you, I've lived long enough. I haven't lived long enough to know everything. But, closing in on half a century has taught me that when I'm in my own head and all I can think about is myself and my problems and my family and my this and my that, I end up in tears. But if I start to think about you and people in the community and places where I can support others and get out of my own headspace, you know what I mean? That's where the real magic begins. It's so true. And it's so simple. You know what I mean? When was the last time you gave your time or your services for free? I'm just curious, And you may say, well, I don't know if my time's worth anything. Your time is so valuable. Or you may say, I don't have time to give to anybody else. I would push back on you just a little bit. You have to make the time, but it really is, I believe at the end of the day, it is the cure for depression and anxiety and sadness, truly, truly. So I want to invite you to roll your shoulders back. We did a nice smudge just now. We always smudge before any kind of ritual work. It's super important. Is you want to remove and release any energy that is stored or stuck, because you want for energy to really be raised in a tight container. You first want to come through it. I think of it like erasing the dry board. You know what I mean? When you walk into a space, there's all kinds of stuff written on that chalkboard. I used to be a teacher, and so I would walk into my classroom, and whoever had just taught there, a lot of times would leave all of their class notes on the chalkboard. And so I would go in, and the first thing I would do is erase the board, even if I wasn't going to use the board. And that's because when my students walked in, I didn't want them to see everybody else's class stuff. I wanted them to step into the container, which used to be my classroom, my physical classroom. I didn't call it a container, but that's what it was. We were raising energy, meaning we were learning together, which is raising energy. And we were doing that in a container or a classroom. If you walk into a classroom, there's a bunch of writing on the board, the first thing you're going to do is start reading it. It's going to take you out of your headspace. So I did everything I could to help my students walk into a classroom from a really peaceful, organized, focused place. And so it's the same with energy and smudging, right? It's like you come into a room, you come into a space, even a sacred space, and there's energy preceding you. Energy of whoever was here last, or whoever cleaned the space yesterday, or the last person to meditate here. And so smudging just sort of, it's like erasing your dry board. It's allowing you to have a clean headspace. And let's face it, we're under a Virgo new moon. Virgos like things clean and tidy. Virgos do not like a mess. My Venus is in Virgo, which is why my husband and I are so tight, I think, because we don't have any other astrological shared influences other than that. But Venus is how you love, and I love like a Virgo, which means part of love for me, when I love someone, part of how I show them that is I take care of their space. I do small acts of kindness and service. I try to make sure that when I love someone, I try to make sure that they feel taken care of. And I really try to tidy up my space and my home, even my bed. Like I like my bed made every day. I'm very particular about the kind of sheets that I sleep on, right? That's all very Venus and Virgo. Doesn't sound very sexy probably, but Virgo is, Virgo's a lusty sign. It's just, it's sublimated, right? Virgo's not going to let it all hang out. Virgo's sexiness is more subtle. And to turn Virgo on, if I know something about that, to turn Virgo on, you first have to be clean, be clear, and be organized. Virgo does not get turned on by some kind of hot mess, okay? So that's what this new moon means. This new moon is like, before anything else, before you really leap into that harvest season, which is coming up before we know it, right? Couple of weeks, and we'll be turning the great wheel of time toward fall here in the northern hemisphere. It's all happening right now. But what this Virgo new moon is saying, before you go into that harvest season, clean it up, clear it out, and organize it. Get your shit together right now. That's what this Virgo new moon is about. Organize it. And I don't know about you, but the way some of this is showing up for me under this new moon is, I've been going through, like, do you have a junk drawer at your house? this may be like just me, but I have like a little junk drawer, and it's sometimes not so little, especially if the kids, like, it accumulates. It seems to grow. I will say, for my part, I don't put stuff in the junk drawer, so I take no responsibility for its growth, but I'm the only one who ever cleans it. And this new moon has had me going through like drawers to organize, and like organizing, old bills and receipts and things. If you're feeling like that, that's the Virgo new moon. It's wanting you, before you have a new beginning, before we launch a new lunar cycle, it's telling you to go back through and sort of dot your I's and cross your T's. So for what that's worth, I would go ahead and indulge that this week, rather than, why fight it, right? I mean, it's not going to hurt you to be a little more organized than you usually are. And at the end of the day, what this Virgo new moon promises is that could actually create a more successful harvest season for you too. And I'm sorry, but that sounds good to me right now. So let me read to you a little bit. Roll your shoulders back. Take a nice deep breath. This is what happens when the moon transits Virgo. When the moon transits Virgo, especially in her darkest phase, we are infused with the light of perfection, which serves to reveal the perfectly pure nature of our eternal essence. She has first to strip and sift away anything that doesn't belong, but her aim is to uncover our divine expression in human form and polish it to a fine, impeccable shine. Virgo moon, her whole presence can be easy to miss, but she is alive in every detail. The queen of intricacy and refinement may operate on a small scale, but she is the mechanics that keeps things going, and she makes everything a little bit better. When the moon is dark in Virgo, she reminds you that your body is a gift, and she holds the key to its physical health and well-being. And I do want to say this is a healing new moon. Tonight I'm going to ask you to set intentions around organization and structure, but I'm also going to ask you to set intentions around renewed health and vitality, and in particular around your digestive system. Virgo governs the digestive tract, including the lower and upper intestines, or small and large intestines. What I meant was upper and lower, which is small and large. I sort of flip-flopped them. But Virgo rules the digestive system and the solar plexus chakra as well. So thinking about all of that, lean in now and listen to her humble wisdom. She will not parade in front of you with solutions to your problems, because Virgo is going to make you work that shit out for yourself. That is part of Virgo's medicine. Virgo will always give you sound advice, but Virgo is not going to fix your problems for you. And I think sometimes we get frustrated with Virgo because we almost feel like Virgo could solve our problems if they wanted to. Have you ever had that feeling with a Virgo? It's like, can't you just do it for me? And it's like, no, they're not going to do it for you. But that's why they're here. They're here to almost like show you how, and then step back and let you sort of figure out the path forward. But she holds them with quiet patience until you're ready to listen. Luna, in her new phase, is brimming with fiery creative potential. And when her flames blend with sensual, earthy Virgo, she has the power to manifest her passion and ideas in material form. She is not just a vision or a dream. She is the practical application, a vessel from which life will pour and nourish the earth and all of its creatures. So let's talk about what intentions are well aspected for being set tonight under a Virgo new moon. Work intentions. Okay, I would say, even though really Virgo's the sign of service, most of Virgo's service happens in the workplace. And so if you are setting an intention to get a new job, maybe you're looking for new work, maybe you're looking for a promotion in your current job, or in some way to take on new responsibilities, that would be definitely a new moon in Virgo intention that you could set. If you're wanting to be taken more seriously at work, this would be a really good new moon for you to use to ask for guidance about how to increase your profile at work, to have your work more appreciated or taken more seriously. This is definitely a great new moon for you to consider setting new health goals or creating a new health habit. Maybe you're going to indulge or engage in a new way of eating. That would also be supported really well. Changes to your routines. So let's say you want to develop a new habit. I've been really thinking about this. I made a list. I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, but if we're friends, and even if we're not friends, I think I made it public because I've hit that friend limit on Facebook, which is kind of a crappy thing. But you should still, if you have a chance to send me a request, if you want to be friends on Facebook, when there is a space, I always try to add people. So it's still good to send a friend request. I would love to be friends with you. And every so often somebody spins out of my, universe. And so, but anyway, I was mentioning all that because, I really think it's a good time to consider expanding your networks, right? And I had put because that Virgo new moon is all about new relationships too, and new connections, not so much intimate relationships, but new partnerships. But I had put a post about the things that I do every day. I don't know if you saw that, but I drink apple cider vinegar every day, and I meditate every day, and I smudge every day, and I work with crystals every day. Like the 10 or 15 things that I can guarantee you happen every day in my life. And everybody was commenting with what they do every day, which is a very Virgo new moon thing to do. It's kind of fun. I am curious what your dailies are. And it got me thinking, like, are there new habits that I do want to create or that I do want to activate? Anything that I want to add to my daily routine that I think would be really supportive of my health. And so I would ask you that same question. Is there something under this Virgo new moon that would really support your health if you did it every day? And maybe that's, some form of exercise or yoga or just a basic stretch that you're going to do every day. All the way down to the most mundane detail, truly, of like, maybe you're going to tell yourself that you love yourself every day. Maybe you're going to hug someone in your life every day. Maybe you don't do that right now. I do that. And the reason I do that, I don't hug everybody every day, but I really make a point to hug my spouse and hug my children every day. Because what I realized early on in my marriage and also in the raising of my kids is if I don't do that, then there will be days where nobody hugs them, right? Maybe everybody in the family forgets to hug my daughter. So I always try to remember to hug everybody, those 3 people every day, and tell them I love them. Maybe that's a new habit that you're going to start. Maybe you're not a super affectionate person, but you're realizing that you want more affection, and the best way to get something is to give it. You know what I mean? Like, when people come to me and they're like, "How can you help me, Athena? I want more physical affection in my life." And so I always ask, so how much physical affection are you giving, and who do you give it to? And they'll say something like, "Well, I don't give affection to anybody." And then I'll say, "Well, good way to get what you want is to give what you want." And like, who could you start with today? You know what I mean? That would be able to receive you with grace. So anyway, all of that, new habits, new ways of thinking, new routines, new tasks, thinking about your digestive system. Virgo suffers sometimes with digestive disturbances, and usually when Virgo suffers with stomach issues, it's because they are internalizing their own desire to be critical. There's nothing harsher in so many ways than the gaze of the Virgo, because again, they see every flaw. They see that little tiny pimple on your nose that only you know is there. You think nobody else can see it, and Virgo's like, "Did you know you have a pimple on your nose?" This has happened to me. I told you this, I think, in the astrology class, where my husband was like, "I think you have a pimple right here." And I looked at him and I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now? Like, I can barely feel that under the surface." And he's like, "No, I can totally see it. I can see it from way over here." And it's like, that's Virgo. We love him for it. You know what I mean? I honestly look at it 20 years later, and I think it's funny when he does stuff like that, right? Because those things, to me, like, I could care less. Honestly, I wouldn't notice a pimple on your face unless it reached out and bit me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't notice those things in people. But when Virgo turns that critical gaze on themselves, they end up with stomach problems. And trust me when I tell you, no matter how hard Virgos are on everybody else, they are still 100 times harder on themselves. That's what I can tell you about the Virgos in my life. Like, no matter how critical they are very aware that they choose partners who have fewer flaws than other partners, because they know themselves, and they know that they don't like to be with somebody who's massively flawed, right? They sort of think about those things. But the other thing is, Virgos will be the first to tell you that they see their own flaws much more clearly than they see the flaws of anyone else. And I think that's really true. Deep down, they are some of the most humble, hardworking people on the planet. Truly, I think that's why my husband's one of the people I admire most in the world, and it's because there's a selflessness to him. Like, he is such a deeply service-oriented, servant-oriented leader and partner and husband and father. But he also is incredibly hard on himself. And so before he critiques anybody, he always turns that gaze on himself and tries to improve himself. So, and then the last thing is how, in addition to how can you be of deeper service in the world, remember that Virgo also has a really profound way of bringing beauty to the world through their service. And so the last question, or maybe set of intentions you might want to set this evening with me, is how will you be of deeper service? How will you bring more beauty into the world? What can you do to facilitate that? So the tools for this kit are funny, right? So as we were sitting with the team and kind of ideating about what to name this set and like what to name this ritual, what I said during that meeting was, with Virgo, there's always a method to their madness. If they're super critical, it's always in service of something, a bigger vision or a goal to improve something. Virgos are not just critical for the sake of being critical. They're always trying to improve something and make something better, whether it's themselves or something else. So we ended up making a method to the madness kit. So your candle is the method, and we're going to use this candle tonight, right now, to help you understand how to cultivate deeper service and compassion and beauty in the life and in your world. And then there's madness perfume, which is medicine for Virgos. If there's one gift I would give to the Virgos in my life, and I've given it to a few, they need to go mad a little bit. You know what I mean? I know that's why my husband married me, because I'm sort of madness on wheels, right? I've always told him, you keep me safe, I'll keep you wild, right? And that's kind of our agreement. And so madness perfume is oak moss, which is about spiritual growth, sandalwood, which opens all of the upper chakras and helps you expand your magic out into the world, and then patchouli, which brings, while sandalwood pushes your energy out, the patchouli in there is going to ground your energy back in, and that's how you take your madness and make it practical. So that patchouli really reflects that Virgo grounding of insanity, as it were. And then you had your focus mist, which is designed to help you take that energy and bring it into your environment, so you can use this in all of your spaces. And then your gemstones, you have red hematoid quartz, which is quartz with hematite in it. Hard to see on the camera a little bit, but there's that red. It's like a streak inside of hematoid, which is hematite, right? Which is strengthening. It brings calmness. It helps to, Virgo tends to overthink everything. And so red hematoid quartz is going to bring all those thoughts in and sort of ground and anchor them. Then you got tumbled yellow jasper, which is right here. And this is the stone. I love this stone so much. This is the stone that reminds you that you are enough, which Virgo always struggles with that. Virgo always feels like they're not good enough. They could be doing more. They could be loving more. They could be serving more. They could be expanding more. It's like they are their own worst enemy. Have you found that? If you're a Virgo, you got to admit that's the truth, right? You got to go easier on yourself. So this is the stone that tells you can get through it, whatever it is. If it doesn't kill you, it's going to make you stronger. This was the star of the show. So this is shell fossil jasper. And those are actual little creatures there, little fossilized creatures. Isn't it beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. And so all organic material that reminds you that there is a peace that you can attain, a spiritual level of peace that cannot be brought to you through earthly means or earthly matters or earthly relationships even. And so this is about deep relaxation, deep well-being, and again, taking Virgo out of their head, which is such a source of stress for them on almost every level, and helping them ground themselves into a deeper state of awareness. And then tumbled dendritic agate, which brings you into the present moment. It's also thought to be an important stone of prosperity too. And so your dendritic agate is there. And so that is your gemstone set for working with the energy of Virgo. You could take these and sort of take your printed palm stone and put it in the center of a plate and use the rest of your stones around it to build sort of a basic foundation of a grid. If you wanted to make like let's say you wanted to make an organization grid or a promotion grid. Maybe you're trying to get a promotion at work and you want to use these crystals to attract that energy. I would put your palm stone in the center, your other stones make almost a triangle, and then I would place quartz points in the intervals. Okay, you can just place quartz points laying out. You can put 3 or 4 little tiny quartz generators, and you have a perfect grid. And then anoint with your perfume, which I love so much. And when I anoint, I always put just a little drop at my third eye for what I know, a little bit at my wrist for what I do, and then a little bit on my ankles for where I go. And when you do that, you're making contact between those essential oils and the meridians or the energy lines of your body. And that's how scent can really transform everything about your emotions, your experience, your energy, and that's how it works. And so we have our tools. I'm going to go ahead and open our beautiful circle this evening. I'm using my brand new selenite wand. Some of you were lucky enough to get these when we had them. My team made these to celebrate the launch of my brand new book, The Ultimate Guide to Chakras, which came out this week. So I want to thank you for your support so much. We actually are doing a book signing here on the new moon in Denver. We're so excited to be signing books for you there. So if you are in town in Denver, we would love to see you. Okay. Rolling your shoulders back. Bring your energy into present time. I like to put my hands on my knees with my palms facing up, whatever feels most comfortable to you. I'm going to go ahead and light my candle, my method candle, because tonight we're going to ask how to be of deeper service. Now is the time. Your service has never been more needed on this planet than it is right now. Aho to that. Okay. So just rolling your shoulders back, taking another deep breath. And so calling to the guardians of the Eastern Gateway, inviting you into our circle this evening as we welcome this opportunity, as we do with every new moon, to call in a new energy stream. Tonight we're calling in organization and focus, service, commitment in line with this beautiful Virgo energy. Welcoming you into the circle. Guardians of the South, help us through our intention setting tonight to open powerful new energy streams, to let go of fear and to embrace service and compassion. We welcome you to the circle this evening. Guardians of the West, help us to feel our way into this work. Even though we're working with really earthy, grounded, powerful Virgo, we still need to access those energy streams of love and compassion in order to make this world a better place through our service and our efforts. And so we welcome you into this circle this evening. And then Guardians of the Northern Gateway, that's the home base of Virgo. We thank you for the beautiful earthy energy of this new moon. It's making us feel really, I don't know about you, but it's making me feel really powerful and possible. Especially with Mars being direct now. Mars was retrograde, which meant that it was really hard to make progress on your goals. But I think now, especially with Virgo buttoning us up under this new moon, I think that there's so much potential now for us to really, expand and to create powerful goals together this evening. And so Guardians of the North, we welcome you as well. And so our circle is open. We are ready. And so I want you to choose 2 of your stones that you're going to work with directly in the ritual. If you want to work with all 4, you can, of course, but I'm going to recommend that you choose 2. And so whether it's the tree agate with its prosperity properties and, grounding you, or it's that, and really we have stones to represent almost every chakra here. If it's that shell fossil, which is really about, connecting you into a more ancient sense of power and service, maybe that shell fossil jasper is going to help you hear the voices of your ancestors and tune into their service streams. How were they of service in their life when they were alive? Maybe you need that yellow jasper. I'm going to work with that because that's just an ongoing thing in my life. I think as a woman who runs her own company and has small children and aging parents and a partner, and a lot of people in my life, I always have to remind myself that I'm enough, because a lot of times I feel like I'm stretched so thin that I'm constantly sort of disappointing someone. And so this is a really important stone for me in particular. And if you feel that way too, just know you're not alone. And stone medicine really can help strengthen you. It activates that solar plexus. And so it just reinvigorates your power center. It's really important. And then the hematoid quartz, which is about magnified expansion, right? Magnified circulation, everything flowing in good divine order. So those are the two I'm charging up tonight with my work, feeling good enough and expanding that power into the world in a really grounded, connected way, not in a, flagrant sort of like disorganized way, but really anchoring you down into your purpose and forcing you to be accountable. So that's the energy here. And so we have kind of a fun ritual tonight. It's going to be a simple one, but I think you're really going to enjoy it. So I want you to take one stone in each hand. If you're working with all four, take two in each hand. So however you're choosing to do that. And a nice deep breath. And so I want you to envision yourself in the middle of a beautiful, enchanted forest. Virgo loves the trees. I have never met a Virgo in my life who didn't really feel better in the forest or among the trees. My husband grew up in upstate New York, and whenever I hear him talk about being young and running through the forests and, living among acres of trees, it's hard for me as an LA kid, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even think I knew what an acre was until I started to travel, because in Los Angeles, nobody has an acre of land unless they have a lot of money, and that was not me. So I didn't even know what an acre was. And here's my husband growing up on the other side of the country, surrounded by acres of land. And so it's interesting, right? But they're always more comfortable with the trees. And so I want you to imagine yourself in a beautiful grove of trees tonight. And imagine that you're in the center of them. And feel your feet on the floor of this beautiful forest. Maybe it's the redwood forest, which is my home forest of choice. I love the redwood forest of Northern California. It's pure magic to me. But whatever forest enchants you, I want you to imagine that there's a beautiful ring of trees around you. And you can even feel sort of the stabilizing force of their root system, right? It's like somehow tree medicine always brings me into present time. And it reminds me, whenever I look at those big trees, I always think they were here so long before me, and they'll be here so long afterward. One day my great-great-grandchildren will look up at one of those trees, right? And think, my great-great-grandma was standing there all those years before. So I just love them so much. And so I want you to gaze up, and I want you to notice that there are 9 trees around you. This was something very specifically guided by my spirit guides for this meditation. 9 is one of the most important numbers in numerology. If you're taking my numerology course right now on angel numbers, get ready, because session 2 is all about the number 9 and a lot of the non-repeating number sequences that add up to 9. I'm going to debunk the whole mystery around why that is, because the number 9 is probably the most important number in the universe. But in any case, I want you to sense 9 trees around you. Turn around in the circle, really, really see each one of the 9. Each one of those 9 is an intention that wants to be activated through you tonight. Normally we work with 1 intention or 2 intentions. Sometimes we work with 3 intentions. I haven't done 9 with you before, but for some reason that number is coming through. Now, I don't think it's fully coincidental, right? We are in the 9th month of the year. And as I just said, almost all of the most powerful numbers in numerology add to 9. 9 is considered to be the number of the final human lifetime before ascension. In my astrological chart, it's really interesting because almost all my planets are in the 9th degree, and I was born on the 9th day of August, and so there's a lot of 9s in my chart. It might be in yours as well. And so I want you to ask your spirit guides to lead you up to tree number 1 in the circle, whichever one they have denoted as the first tree, the first intention that wants to be born through you tonight. Tree number 1, door number 1. And I want you to approach that tree, and I want you to ask that tree what intention for you it's holding under this beautiful Virgo new moon. Tree number 1, what intention would you like us to live into in the next lunar cycle, the next 30 days? And you might hear like a word, you might see an image, you might smell something, like some kind of unique scent that comes through. When you hear something, that's called clairaudience. When you see something, that's called clairvoyance. When you smell something, that's called clairaudience. When you just feel something, sense it, that's called clairsentience. And so all of those are different soul gifts. And so how you communicate with your spirit guides kind of depends on whether you hear or see or feel or smell or just sense something, right? And now I would like for you to commit to this first tree that you will hold that intention for the next 30 days until the next new moon. When we work with the new moon, we're working in lunar cycles. It's a really beautiful rhythm to start to soften into. And if tree number 1 wasn't explicit with you, then I want you to take this opportunity to speak your intention to tree number 1. Maybe it's waiting to hold your intention. Maybe it doesn't have a message for you. Maybe you're supposed to be giving a message to it, which is a possibility too. And when you feel like you've gotten the full wisdom from tree number 1, I want you to take a nice deep breath. And just say thank you, thank you, thank you. It's beautiful. Okay, tree number 2. We're going to do the same thing all the way around the ring tonight. You can either listen for its whisper of what it wants you to work with, or you can speak your second intention to tree number 2. But maybe it has a message for you first. See if you can just listen. Is there something coming through from tree number 2? It's funny what I'm getting, because number 2 in numerology is all about love and balance and duality. So maybe this is part of your service in love, right? Is to bring more balance, or to, integrate more of the duality of the masculine and the feminine forces. I'm not sure exactly what it is for you, but there could be some resonance there. And then formalize your commitment to tree number 2. Yes, I will honor this energy stream, open space for this new emotion or experience for the next 30 days into this next lunar cycle. Deep breath in and out, and just a gentle thank you, thank you, thank you. It's kind of fun, isn't it? And now let's turn to tree number 3. These are just quick. I don't want you to overthink it, right? You're feeling now. You're sensing, right? Virgo has very good intuition. They all do. Some of them will deny it because they're skeptics. But at their core, Virgos are very intuitive beings. And so tree number 3, what intention is it holding for you? Or what intention are you holding for it? Listen for just a moment. 3 in numerology is the 2 + 1, right? It's learning to go from the union to the triad. A lot of times it represents childbirth. It represents joy. The 3 life path is one of optimism and vitality. And so this could be an intention around joy and vitality and procreation and fertility and all of that for you in your life. And then take a moment to commit to bringing intention number 3 through in the next 30-day cycle. And then just thank you, thank you, thank you. And on we go with tree number 4. 4 in numerology is the solid foundation, right? Think of, a table with 4 legs, or a chair with 4 legs. It is foundation. It's something upon which to build. It is the first stage of conscious expansion. And so it's a celebration of having created something powerful. And so what is your foundation? Can you set an intention tonight to strengthen your foundation, or to add something important to your foundation? What's coming up for you here? And then take a moment to commit to bringing this intention through. Something around your foundation or stability, something is there for you. take a nice deep breath right there. Again, just quick feelings, quick sensation, and then making that commitment, right, to continue the work, to carry it through. Your method, right? This is all about your method. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And so now we turn to tree number 5. 5 is about change and prosperity. 5 is about recognizing that change is the only thing we are guaranteed in life. But the change, every time the door of change opens, it can bring with it a flood of new energy, new possibility, new channels of prosperity, ease, flow. And so what intention can you set tonight around change, or your ability or your willingness to navigate change, and also around prosperity, how you're going to attract prosperity, manage prosperity. Maybe you're going to reorient yourself to how you receive prosperity, as an example. A really good intention right here with tree number 5 would be, what do you need to change in your life in order to create more prosperity? That feels so accurate for a lot of you. Like, I can really feel the energy around that. So maybe that's your intention tonight, is that you are going to set the intention to change what needs to be changed in your life. And that could be you, or that can be circumstances, right? Or a mindset that needs to change in order to create a new stream of prosperity. I like that one for you. I think that's a good one. And now commit to bringing that energy through, really seeing that through to completion in the next 30-day cycle. And use your stones. Anchoring, circulating that energy, remembering that you have everything you need to create prosperity in your life would be that yellow jasper and hematoid quartz medicine. And then just thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we turn to tree number 6. 6 is about reflection, contemplation, really being mindful, right? 6 is as above, so below, remembering that you are indeed a reflection of the divine. And so what intention can you set tonight to be in deeper alignment with divinity, to be in a deeper state of reflection, to be in a deeper state of mindfulness? It's a good one for tonight. And then just thinking about your method. How will you do it? What will it require of you? Virgo's wanting you to think through the details. You know how they are. And as you think through the how, just saying thank you, thank you, thank you for the clarity. And then turning to tree number 7 in your ring of trees. 7 in numerology is about the completion of cycles and your connection to your creator. And so relative to this Virgo new moon, what intentions can you set tonight to either be closer to God or source energy, or to honor the completion of cycles as we head into the harvest season in your life? What intentions might you be able to set there? Nice deep breath. Thinking about the how. How can you deepen your relationship with God or source energy? How can you honor cycles that are being completed through you right now in a way that's graceful, right? That does justice to your spirit and to the energy of the occasion. And just giving thanks there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then we come to a fun tree. We come to tree number 8, which is about infinite, boundless possibility, prosperity, leadership. This is a powerhouse tree. What intention can you set tonight for limitless possibility? What intention can you set tonight for infinite prosperity? Prosperity beyond any concern you could possibly have. That's an intense one, isn't it? That's a big ass tree. I feel like some of you are looking up and going, wow, that's a big tree. That is a big ass tree, and you deserve it, and you're going to set an intention for it right this very minute. and do the Virgo thing. Think through the details. How will you manage that prosperity? How will you call in that infinite flow of resources? How, right? The method to the madness. Isn't that madness sexy? If you have a man in your life, because I think it smells particularly divine on men, you should roll that madness all over him. And then find your method. I told you Venus in Virgo is not sexy. She's just a little understated is all sometimes. All right, and as you think about that prosperity, just giving thanks. Thank you for what is coming, what is arriving. And then last but not least, tree number 9, the tree that completes your circle, that completes our work tonight, that completes your commitment to service. Where in your life are things coming to a conclusion? Are doors closing? Maybe you can set an intention not tonight to release those things with grace and gratitude, especially as we head into like heavy harvest season here, which will help you attract new and more beautiful resources behind it, I believe. So setting an intention there for completion, for fruition, for honoring the closing of doors, which of course mean the opening of new ones. And then Virgoing that out, thinking through the how, the method, what are you going to do, what does that mean? And then as you crystallize that vision under this beautiful new moon, with a deep breath, we say, thank you, 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 thank you. 9 trees, 9 intentions, on 9/9. It's a really powerful universe that we live in together, isn't it? Do you ever just sit in awe? Because I really do. I sit in awe of this universe. And sometimes when I lose my faith, because even I lose my faith, I'm still human, right? Like I do this for a living, but there are still times where I'm like, man, you know? But every time that happens, within a day or two, the universe sweeps in with some really sweet, usually very gentle reminder, like, nope, we're all still here. You may feel lost, but you have not lost us. Isn't that beautiful? I'm feeling that energy tonight, and I'm feeling it with you, which is really sweet too. And so by extinguishing this candle together, we set this energy free, and we set our intentions on the winds to manifest perfectly in perfect time and in deep alignment with our highest good and our purpose for being on this planet at this time together into this beautiful Virgo new moon. And together we say, Amen, Aho, and so it is. So beautiful. So beautiful. Whew. Okay. Well, all Virgos will be very proud of us tonight. We have been very proper. We have followed all of our rules for protocol, for ritual. Whenever I'm doing anything Virgo, I feel like I always have to be very precise and very accurate, because that's what Virgo is. Leos, we are not precise and accurate. We are a party, which isn't always very clean or accurate or precise, but it is a lot of fun. And so, Guardians of the Northern Gateway, as we open our circle tonight and release you from the circle with gratitude, thank you for protecting us during our ritual tonight. Thank you for anchoring us in this beautiful earth energy, this gorgeous sign Virgo, and all of the magic that Virgo brings. We release you with gratitude from our circle. Guardians of the West, thank you for helping us feel all the feels tonight and get excited about what it means to activate these energies of organization and service and structure. We're ready to bring those energies through. We release you with gratitude from the circle tonight. Guardians of the South, Virgo still needs the fire. Thank you for bringing the fire element to our circle tonight, giving us the courage, giving us the strength to do this work together and separately. We release you with great gratitude from the circle this evening. And guardians of the East, we thank you for this new dawn, this new day, this new opportunity. We are so grateful for each other, for the next cycle, what it will bring and represent, the harvest that is ahead. We will have harvest before I see you again for new moon. And so I hope you're looking forward to our beautiful Maybon celebration that we're going to have together. But we release you, guardians of the East, with so much gratitude. And with that, our beautiful circle is complete for September. I want to thank you so much for joining me for this beautiful Virgo new moon ritual. I hope you loved it. And I hope you're excited. There's so much to come from Denver. Try not to get tired of me. You're going to be seeing a lot of me over the next few days, but it's been a blessing to be with you. And so stay focused on those intentions. Every morning when you wake up, how do you, people always ask me, how do you really manifest a new moon intention? You wake up every morning and maybe you want to write them down. You should go write them down right now, what your 9 trees were and what they represented. If you want to share it with us, I would love to see on the event page, what were your 9 trees? And then every morning wake up and send energy to those intentions. What most people do is wake up the next day and go, you know what, that was a good idea, but I can't really do that, or I'm not going to really accomplish that, or that's not really going to happen. And it's like a balloon losing all of its air. Whereas those of us who are really good at manifesting, we wake up the next day and go, oh, hell yeah. And I'm going to keep sending energy to it. I'm going to keep sending energy to it. And if somebody tells me I can't do it, I'm not going to listen to them anymore. And I'm going to keep sending energy to it. The secret is tenacity and faith. And not letting the turkeys get your ass down. It's really true. If you're going to create anything, and I think every Virgo on the planet would agree with me. That's a bold statement, but you know what? If you don't agree, let me know. I think every Virgo on the planet would agree with me when I tell you, if you're going to create something powerful that's worthwhile and of beauty in your lifetime, somebody is not going to like it. And you should do it anyway. Because if it's resonating with your heart and your mind and your spirit, there isn't anybody on this planet who should really be able to convince you not to do it. So cheers. To all the Virgos and all the non-Virgos out there, you are so loved by all of us here at Team SG. I want to wish you a beautiful rest of your new moon weekend, and I will look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you for being here, everybody. Take care.